gente? It's your girl Nina Montañez.
Hey, yo, what it do? It's your boy Rue, and I'm coming for you. And this is
Sofrito Speaks.
Hey, welcome back.
Damas y caballeros.
Baby, I'm out of breath.
Just from doing that?
I know.
That's crazy.
I gotta step the cardio up.
I was going to say, what's the cardio looking like?
How's everybody doing? Welcome back. This is episode 19, I was gonna say episode 17, season 16. It's a lot going on right here. Season 6 of Sofrito Speaks. If you are watching on the YouTubes, hi, hello. If you are checking us out on Spotify for podcasters now.
Oh, because it's not Anchor anymore.
It's no longer Anchor.
Podcasters. Did they buy Anchor or Anchor?
They bought
always...
Anchor in 2019.
Okay.
And they're now rebranding it. And it's actually like gonna be like a big deal. So if you are on Spotify for podcasters right now, stay tuned because they're doing like this whole like social media thing for podcasters.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, really excited about that. But anyways.
To think we almost quit.
What is the tea? Let's get into the first part of the show. El Chisme, the part of the show where we let you know what had us fucked up or jodido in the past week. I forgot to turn the flash on, the camera. It's really going to bother me.
Yeah, I know it is. You got that.
Go ahead. Give them your chisme.
Let's see. So...
Pause. Go.
My chisme. What is my chisme?
The
okay.
fact that you froze.
You told me to.
Smart woman.
Yo!
That laugh is going to go so great
So
with
rude.
your International Women's Day post. Because the last thing that I said on the post was like, our cackling laugh queen.
He ain't shit.
All right. And that's all staying. I'm not editing none of that out.
That's fine.
Besides that little freezing moment that we had.
Totally fine.
Frozen.
We keep it a buck here over at Sofrito Speaks.
Because it's all we get.
You know what I'm saying?
That's all we have is that dollar. A dollar and a dream. That's why we're keeping it a buck with y'all.
That is too good. That's too funny. Okay, so
My week.
Rue and I typically run through everything before we get on the show. We start recording, and then but I didn't tell him this one because I want his real, raw, honest reaction to this, mi gente. So y'all know I'm on my little walk or whatever wiggle, all right? And with that comes certain gifts. This one gift I've had my whole life, but it was misdirected. We're redirecting it. So I am on the worship team to praise and sing for God at church.
You told me that.
No, I didn't. I told you that I was going to go check it out.
You
But
got
I checked
on?
it out, yeah.
Obviously, like you didn't have to tell me that. Loca, that was already like given.
He was like, girl, this is a new
When is the first show?
Dike, the first show. You hear this? Disrespectful as. So what is happening is.
Do you sing at church?
Yeah. Like,
you sing like during service?
Yes.
I'm going to have to go.
Well, that's one way to get him. You know what, God? If you sent me here, this was my job.
You're going to have me twerking at the altar.
Stop it.
They're like twerking it for Jesus, baby. Wobbly, wobble, wobble, wobble. Jesus said, I love
stacking my praises.
I love
Bible.
all my
Yo,
kids, especially
stop.
that special one down there.
No, so I'll be part of like the group that sings backup for the leads or whatever. And so that's gonna be interesting because I have never sang in a group before. But super interesting. I had me all the way messed up all week, mi gente. I was just telling Ruben, he's like, baby, you good? Like,
we had to do a screaming session.
he's sliding me his therapist's number. You okay? Here you go. You got that, mamita. It's okay. Okay. Okay, couple things I realized happened. Because again, mi gente, I don't just have a problem. Like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get to the root of it because I refuse to feel this way, fam. And that's just my mentality. Like, once I feel weird, I need to figure out what it is because I have to name it because it's going to drive me insane. So Wednesday, I'm bugging out because I thought it was Tuesday all day, right? And
You didn't say all that.
my brain thought it was Tuesday. My body knew it was Wednesday. Why? Because my body knew that there was something happening on Wednesday that was going to make us uncomfortable. So my body retained that information. But my brain, literally, my brain was stuck on Tuesday. So I'm like, why all day? I'm like, oh, I feel gross. Why do I feel so weird? Like, I feel like heavy. I feel like, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I got to use the bathroom. Like, I was running through excuses left and right. Like, I did go to the gym. I had a really good workout. Like, what? Why do I feel this way?
Like the Terminator.
Stop. So I'm trying to figure out what is it? Like, what is bothering me? And it gets to about 4:00 and I realize, oh, you have to go to rehearsal tonight to check it out.
Oh.
And
this was a new thing for you. So
yes,
your body is trying to.
My body was gearing up for it. Remember, be in tune with your body. That one episode we had.
No, but it definitely it works out like that. You have to get ready, not just mentally. Your body's literally going to react to what you're putting in your mind about this event.
So I'm like, okay. So I had to keep telling myself, Nina, it's fine. Nina, it's fine. Here's the thing, though. The person that had reached out to me to give me the details left me on red without giving me the details. So I'm like, I already know, I know the place and the time, but there were certain aspects to like what we were talking about so they had asked me like, oh, what's your experience with worship? Like, run me through your history. And I had responded back and I was like, oh, I don't have any.
With worship or worship?
Worship.
Worship?
Worship. Like worship music when you're singing.
I thought you were saying worship.
Yes, WORSHIP.
I thought you were saying WARSHIP.
No.
I'm like, what? Now, what the heck? I don't know. I was going to ask you.
He's stupid.
Shit.
So, asked me what is my history with it? And I was like, oh, I don't have any history. So I'm assuming because I have no history that like I'm out of the running for this thing. They never responded. And I was like,
God gonna make you wait.
So do I show up? Wait on the Lord. Do I just show up? Like what?
They were doing your social media checks.
Is it gonna be like, well, here's the thing though, is that I didn't know that this person even followed me on social media. Like I followed them. I didn't know that they followed me on social media. At the church social media started following me on social media. And I was like, okay, now we really got to keep it clean and classy because, you know what I mean? But
now, if y'all see me walk in the build.
So what happened was, okay, like this is really like, we're really going backtracking. So what happened was they have photographers at service or whatever, and they post like the pictures throughout the service. So I'm going through, I'm like, oh, the pictures look really nice. I'm going through. I see me in one of the pictures. I said, hold up. Oh, this is nice. So I reposted to my story. And you know, like if you're...
they can see the reshares.
You can see the reshares.
Like when Angie Martinez liked our reshare.
I almost passed out.
Thank you, whoever's on her team. We see you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. And so... whatever, I reposted, but I also forgot that I had done I was doing car karaoke like I normally do, and I was singing worship music, and that came before, like, so I'm going through my views on my thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is the church watching what is going on? So then I peeped that they watched my entire story, and I'm going through and I'm checking to make sure I didn't repost nothing outlandish. I'm sick. And so the worship leader also watched my story, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, whatever. Didn't realize they were following me, whatever. So remember how I told you guys that God told me to quit my part-time job, and I was working Wednesday and Thursday nights, and they wanted to push me to Monday nights. I get a DM from the worship leader on Tuesday of that week, asking me like, hey, would you be interested in worship? Blah, 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 blah. Now, mi gente, keep in mind, I was gearing up to be a part of children's ministry. Why? Because I like working with kids. I'm good at working with kids. Why not do it on Sundays so that parents can come and worship God and their kids are being taken care of? Whatever. So that's what I was gonna do. And when I was filling out the form for like what my interests are, I was gonna do like young adults ministry and things that have me like speaking about just like life, like what we do here, things that I was choosing the things that I was comfortable with. And I kept looking at worship, like circling it like for fun. And I was like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. So I didn't circle it. So the fact that I, one, didn't pick that thing, two, I quit my job, and their rehearsal schedule would have been are on the nights that I would have been working had I kept my part-time job. So the worship leader reaches out to me. I didn't express any interest at all. Never said anything. Didn't speak it to anybody. Nothing. He reaches out. Cool. We chit chat. Cool. Wednesday comes around. I gotta go to. He asked me to come check out rehearsal. I was supposed to meet up with him Sunday night, Sunday after service, and he had to go do something and he forgot. So I communicated and said, hey, I waited around for you after church, but like I had other things to do. I couldn't find you, so like my bad. I didn't want you to think that I was fronting when I said that I would meet up with you to get more information about worship. He was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I completely forgot, whatever. Like, I feel really bad. That looks so bad on my part. I had to go run over to the other church and do worship there. And I was like, oh, like, no worries. To which he invited me to rehearsal. But fast forward back to my body's being funny that day. So 6 o'clock rolls around. I got to drive 45, 50 minutes to go to rehearsal. So I go and I sit in my car. I have a full-blown panic attack. Why? Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, girl, you only shower good. Like, what do you mean you're going to get up and sing in front of... You're not doing that. Like, every negative thing that I could have told myself happened. And I do car karaoke all the time. Like, I don't really sing in front of people. So, like, I'm bugging out. And I'm like, Nina, you can't... And I'm telling myself, you can't sing with a group. Your voice doesn't blend. Like, you wouldn't be good enough for a group. There's no way. So I start driving. I'm like, you know what? Just start driving. And if at any point you're like, you know what, this is too much, you don't have to go. I'm in full blown, like, I'm not doing this. This is not happening. So I get on the highway and I said, you know what? As I'm driving, I was like, you know what, Nina, you just cut it out. Like, stop. And I was like, God, if this is something that you want me to do, let me know. And I was like, I don't know. I know these feelings of anxiousness and fear and self-doubt are not coming from you. So I know I must be doing something that you want me to do because the enemy is trying his hardest to get me not to show up. I bind it and I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Amen. The feeling jumps off of me. Like, it's gone. And I'm like, okay, we're going to be fine. And then I'm like, hold up. Why was I saying those things? Why do I feel this way? And it unlocked a memory. And I remembered in high school, it's crazy how like little T trauma things can come up way later in life. At 17 years old, little T trauma. So there's like big T trauma and then little T trauma. Oh. So like things that you didn't realize caused you some type of trauma, but it wouldn't be as big as, I don't know, for example, like a death or anything like that. You guys know where your mind can go with the big T trauma. Whatever. So I remember at 17 years old, Lawrence High had a girls' ensemble. And my oldest sister was a part of this group. The group was nasty. It was the girls' choir. Fire group. And because I always played sports, I couldn't really join any extracurricular activities outside of that because they ran at the same time sports were running. I preferred sports to singing. But this one year, I was friends with a couple of girls on Girls Ensemble, and they were like, no, like, we really think you should try out. Just try out. Like, you never know. Like, there are people, they told me, we have people that play sports that show up to, like, the concerts, and they get they get all the information, whatever, and they still get to be a part of the group. And I was like, oh, like, no one ever told me that as a freshman. Here I am, a junior, trying to figure it out. So I go to, and all these memories come flooding back to me in that moment. And I remember going to the rehearsal because they were having tryouts for Girls Ensemble, and I remember going, and I sang 6, 8, 12 by Brian McKnight. And I remember it was like the girls were in the room.
Wait, is this another number song by Brian McKnight?
Yeah, there's Back at One.
Okay.
The one you like.
No,
that's
that
called
one.
Back at One.
That's the only one that I thought he had of numbers, but there's another. Okay.
6, 8, 12, 6 months, 8 days, 12
Mathematician,
hours.
got it.
You stupid. And so I remember being in the room. That's the song that I chose. That's the song that I sang. and the other girls were in the room. And I remember the choir director telling me, your voice would never blend. You couldn't be a part of this group because
Trash.
we can't. Your voice isn't good enough.
Did she have blonde hair?
Yes.
Trash.
And and I didn't realize that I held on to that. Like, that's crazy that I held on to that. And as I was driving this past Wednesday, those were the things I was telling myself. Your voice isn't gonna blend. Your voice isn't good enough. Because I allowed some lady to plant that seed of doubt that, like, low key was like a vine. Like, it didn't just sprout. It slowly was
And you believed
growing.
that.
And I believed it. But then I was like, oh, I can get on and do these little duets on TikTok. I can get on and do these little things, whatever. Because it's like, I've always loved to sing, but I never wanted to do it on a stage. Like, it was before that whole situation happened, that was something that I wanted to do. I did want to pursue singing. After that, I was like, oh, I'm not good enough. So when people would tell me, how come you don't sing more often? Or have you ever thought about getting with a group? My response always was, my voice doesn't blend. I wouldn't be good enough.
And it was giving very much diva.
Right. And it's like, I'm not being like, and it was like, because that's what I was told. Like, I wouldn't be able to work with a group. And I would tell myself, oh, it's probably because, like, I'm just meant to, be a solo artist or whatever.
I am on a path of Beyonce.
Please. And so with that,
all of that, very Farrah Franklin.
So all of that came up, and I got to the rehearsal, and there were other people in the room. There was maybe like 8 people in the room, and listen, I sit down. Hi, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Sit down. This girl was auditioning, whatever, and great voice. Now they look at me, and old boy was like, okay, you ready? Here's your count. And he starts doing one of these. And I'm like, oh my God, I am so inexperienced. Like, and I can see him telling people, like, oh, you're going to I need you to stay here. Drop here. And like, this man is amazing at his craft. Like, I loved watching it. He was like, all right, Nina. He goes through his phone and he was like, all right, well, I'll have you do this one. Thank God I knew the song, because I don't have worship experience. I've been saved for a year. I have about 8 months of worship music in my system. Not a whole lot like everybody else. And so thank God he picks a song that I know, that I was just playing on my way there. And he was like, okay, so you're going to sing with her. And I was like, right now? Like, we're literally sitting at a table with like 8 of us. Like, right now. I'm sweating, mi gente. My body goes into complete flames. And I was like, okay, so I'm like, what am I going high? Am I going, like, what am I doing? My register's typically low because I'm comfortable low. Like, whatever. So he was like, all right, sing with her. And then everybody was like, wait, why are you bugging? Like, why was you bugging? Like, that was phenomenal. That was so good. And it was like, they were like super positive, whatever. And then they were like, okay, now by yourself. What? And then it was
such a new year for you.
Right. It was with it was with one person, then it was with 2 people. So then it was 3 of us singing together. And I was like, Nina, stay on. And I just, because I have this habit of when I catch someone else's pitch, I'll go with them. So I had to tell myself, stay neutral. These are things that, like, I've never had to do before, but I was just like, all right, you're here for a reason. Like, Nina, you do it for a season. If you realize it's not what you like, you can go work with the kids. Like, it's okay. Like, just try it out. Yeah. So by the end of all that, I realized that I had little T trauma, in that I didn't think I was good enough to be a part of a group, to sit back and say that I will now be a part of a group.
It's giving Adrienne Bailon. And we love it.
Stop. She does sound young though. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, stop.
Ah, oh, damn. I had something to share with you earlier about her.
That's Ay Bendito though. What are we talking about?
So, anyways, my week went okay. I had so this is something that I don't really talk about to the public because I don't want to sound crazy, but I get a lot of like messages through my dreams. So I relay that to my ancestors, and how the Montanez family does have a lot of connection to Native American, not Native American.
Taino?
Yes. So I believe somewhere along that line, or I don't know my father's side enough to attribute it to anything, but I know just from knowing my grandfather that there's always been a strong connection to something greater. Like the way that this man is able to build is just like how did you
Mind
learn
you,
that?
all of them, and then no schooling, the music side of
Nothing.
it, the
Yeah, like nothing. Like
carpentry
these
side of it.
this family just has like gifts
Yeah.
attached to them, and so I always get messages in my dreams, and I had a dream with my father, and that like I had such a great day Wednesday. I was just like, and it was the weirdest dream. He lived a block behind me and behind my mom's house, and I like walked up to the house, and I was like, "Is my dad here?" And my stepmom had opened the door, which I was creeped out about because I'm like, well, she's alive. Like, what is she doing here? So, and she's like, yeah, he's in the living room.
So you were aware you were in the dream realm?
I was aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, okay.
Is
and
that
I
lucid dreaming?
I don't know. I've never lucid dreamed. That's not, lucid dreaming is when you, like, I think you can look at your body.
Oh, okay.
But I don't,
Like an astral projection?
I think so. Like,
Okay.
but for me, I just was like, and I just asked him, I'm like, yo, how are you? And he had the biggest smile on his face, and he was just like, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Everything's good. He's like, I have a house. I have all these things. Like, and I'm like, I love that. I love that. And then, like, I just was like, all right, well, I have to go now. And he was just like, okay, I'll see you around. I love you. I'm like, I love you too. And, like, I walked out, and when I left and closed the door, I woke up. And I was just like,
Wait, not me getting emotional.
I was just like, what the hell is that? Like,
Yo.
I think I don't dream often with my father. The last dream I had of my father warned me of a situation that was going to play out that did actually play out.
What? How we never talked about this? Have we talked about this?
No, but I would have to tell you off
Bet.
air, but yeah, and so that was the last time I saw him was at least like 2018, I want to say. And then like my mom, oop, we're going to skip that out. So yeah. And then, so I don't really dream with him often, but when I do receive dreams with family members have passed away, I always keep it in the back of my head. So that made me have a great week. Well, great day. And then I got some rest.
Let's not get crazy now.
Let's not get crazy. I didn't have a good week. But yeah.
That's what's up.
You got anything else?
That had me messed up. I don't know if did I talk about this last week? I had to put a coworker in check.
No.
I didn't talk about this. Baby. So I caught winds that a coworker was talking a little bit funny about me. And it wasn't anything like, it wasn't like disrespectful in terms of like she was talking like trash. She was just saying, she was real bold with the things she was saying. And it was like oh yeah, no, she's been doing that a lot lately. Like slick comments of whatever, what have you. So when I caught it, I said, hold up, what is she even talking about? Yeah, she's been dropping the ball lately. And I was like, did she ask me to do something that before I like wowed out, I had to think about, wait, am I pulling my weight as a teammate? Am I? Mi gente, old Nina would have been like, what she said? And ran up to that office with a quickness. Keep my name. No. So hold on, let me eat this real quick. Let me chew on this. And I'm like, hold on, have I been dropping the ball as a teammate? No, because when she's asked for something, I've given it. Did she ask me to do something and I forgot? No, we rescheduled that. Did she? And I'm like running through it, and I'm like, nah. So she really talking out the side of her neck. Bet. So I'm like, okay. So mi gente, when I tell you God got a strong grip on me right now, I go running up the stairs. And as I'm about to go hit the threshold to get to where she's at, somebody calls my name and says, hey, this person's asking about this. Can you help them? And I had to I was about to go flying up some stairs, and I had paused immediately, and I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I pause. I start talking to the person. I see one of the big bosses who I'm really cool with. And like I get to bounce everything off of him. He basically helps me filter stuff out. Like I will run up in his office and be like, and then he's like, okay. Did you get that off your chest? All right. Now let's make it more professional so that way you can deliver it. And I love that. I love that I have that relationship with him. So it like basically like a mentor. But like low key, I view him like a big brother, but he's like so much older than me. But like a mentor has to suffice. But I still view him like an annoying big brother. Like I'm not even gonna hold you. So whatever, we're going back and forth, and I was like, yo, if someone didn't break my concentration the moment that they did, I would have said something really stupid, and it would have made me look really bad, and I probably would have lost my job. Like that was how quick that all happened. So I got to like filter it out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to my director. So I reached out to her, and I let her know. I was like, yo, I need you to mediate a situation between me and a coworker because I had half a mind to take it into my own hands, and I don't want to do that. So I'm asking you. And she was like, oh, we could set up time tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we meet. Coworker walks in talking about, I know what we're meeting about. My boss goes, well, Dag, can I start the meeting first before? So I'm sitting across from my coworker. My boss is sitting diagonally from me. And I was like, I'll start it. It's been brought to my attention that, a couple things have been said in my absence because I wasn't there. So it trickled down to me. And I just want to establish some boundaries. And if you have an issue with me, the same way that you call me for everything else, you can call me about an issue that you're having with me. Now that I've expressed that, what issues are you having with me?
It was silent.
No. She was like, what do you mean?
Oh, I love that.
Like, I don't have any issues.
I love when
so I said,
confused.
oh, okay. Let me refresh your memory. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I never said that. You didn't let me finish. Boom, 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 boom. No, I never said that. Really, that sounds. You say that once a week about others, so I find it really hard to believe you didn't say it about me. So that sounds like something you'd say. But it's fine. I was like, I'm not here to argue. I'm not arguing with you. This meeting I didn't request this meeting to argue with you. I requested this meeting to set hard boundaries with our director present. Because I guarantee you cross those lines again, it's going to be a different conversation. Don't play with me.
Woman of power.
This is what it is. This is what it ain't. And this is what it's going to be. So then he's so...
What it is. Oh, what's up?
Hey. So I'm like, okay. So then she is trying to manipulate the situation. I mean, that was literally raised with manipulative people. I know how to combat a manipulative person. So she's trying to sing my praise. She's like, oh, I've been saying that ever since you've been back. It's been amazing. Mi gente, I can't make this. Let me tap back into character. Hold on. I didn't ask you for all that. I didn't request this meeting for anybody to sing my praises. I wasn't coming to collect any accolades, any awards from you especially. I know that our boss would not have had me come back if it wasn't because I didn't execute the tasks that are required of me in my position. So again, I don't need you singing my praises because I know my work ethic and I know what I bring to the table. I don't need you to try and spoon feed it to me, baby. We good. Again, these are my boundaries. Do not cross them. When it comes to me and
Mine's.
Stupid. Don't try me. When it comes to you and yours. I hate how well that went. You're not going to hear me. Now, if you need me to do something, you can put it in an email. Feel free to CC her in on it, and we'll be good to go. Literally lied through her teeth that entire meeting. And I was like, again, I'm talking about hand to God on my mom. I said, hold on, we ain't doing all of that. I said, I don't know what God you talking to. That's blasphemous over on my side. We not doing all that. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I gotta take into account her age. I'm still trying to view her as a human, even though I'm still very visibly upset and annoyed with this situation. And it was, oh my gosh. We leave the meeting, whatever. A different person comes to talk to me and was like, yo, did so-and-so say this? And I say, yeah, why? That's a lie, because that's not what happened. And I was like, you know what? I already dealt with her today. We not doing this again, because the next time I might not have the mind to call in reinforcements. I might just take it up with her directly. We're just not gonna do that. Like, just please. And I had to tell this person, I was like, yo, can you just, if it's in regards to this other human, just don't tell me. Please just don't tell me, because I know me and I don't want to react. So, like, out of respect, I'm setting a boundary with you too. Just don't tell me. Just don't tell me.
Right.
Because it's going to have me all the way messed up. And I'm going to be slamming doors, kicking and screaming. Like, we're good. So you can definitely set boundaries. It's uncomfortable, because I was uncomfortable at first. But, like, once I started my speech, I was like, all right, we're good here. We fine here. But I'm just, she had me messed up. The way I handled it had me messed up, because it was like I was pleasantly surprised by how I handled it.
It's giving groaned.
It's giving groaned, hard on the T. But yeah, those are the things that had me messed up this week.
Whoa. Let's close that out and head over to our next section, which is
Ay bendito.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the next section, Ay Bendito, the part of the show where we let you know, where we actually discuss any local media headlines and global headlines and give you our opinions. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about how Africa is splitting into 2 continents and may open a vast new ocean.
Are the tectonic plates moving like that?
Honey, it is literally ripping in half, and it's literally starting a new ocean. Like, it's insane. So the Arabian plate and the African plate are separating from each other. And yeah, that's what they are finding. This is from iflscience.com. Africa is slowly but surely tearing into 2. Like anything in geology, it's an extremely long process that will take millions of years, but it will eventually see part of East Africa chip off from the rest of the continent, likely resulting in a new ocean arising between the 2 land masses. Insane in the membrane. So let's head over to some entertainment news. Miss Amanda Seales was on the Jason Lee show, episode 9. She talked about the VP Kamala Harris. She talked about the Rio and that whole experience. I found it interesting that...
Is that the one where she was talking about how she walked away from a check?
That is on Amandaverse.
Okay.
On Amandaverse, she talks about walking away from several checks. But she talked about the Rio being an experience of like, so she shared a story of how when she got on the Rio, they announced it on they had like a telephone conference. Mm-hmm. And when they announced it, that she was going on, like all the hosts stayed quiet. Like none of them said anything. And she's like, she found it weird. She was like, I had already been on the show as a guest
a couple times,
and the vibes were well. So she's like, I was expecting, like, she's like, not that they needed to praise me, but I was just expecting like, oh my God, excitement or something. She's like, it was a very awkward phone call, and Adrian called her immediately after, and was like, hey, like, I'm so excited about the news. And she's like, do you know why everyone stayed quiet? And she's like, I thought I was the only one that noticed that. Like, why did everyone stay quiet? And she's like, because we've been asking for a raise for the past 3 years, and they keep telling us there's no money, but they found money to pay you and bring you on. And I was like, and so Amanda Seales was like, that's valid. That's valid. Like, I can see why people would be upset about that. She also talked about how she, like, Tamara's the girl. Tamara. She's like, that's not one of my girls. She said it very clear. She's like, that's just not like, she's like, I don't know that. And then Jason Lee is messy. He likes to get messy. That's his whole thing. Mm-hmm. But Amanda's Amanda. So she was like, I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about her and her wedding. I mean, and her husband. She's like, I don't know that man. I don't know that family, and I'm not gonna sit up here and talk about them. But as far as a friendship or a relationship, I don't talk to that girl. We don't talk. Period. And then Lonnie,
Not Lonnie.
Jason asked her, is she the mean girl that everyone says that she is? And she's like, well, we don't talk either. She's like, I love Jeannie and Adrian. Those are the girls that I speak to. So, yeah, because
Tamara.
No, not Tamara.
Lonnie?
Tamar was telling everyone that Lonnie is the reason why she wasn't asked to be a part of season 2. Was because Lonnie holds so much weight in this setup.
Which was interesting because I thought Tamara was the one that was the highest paid.
I don't know, but I believe it's Lonnie. But so Lunel has said numerous times of how Lonnie is like a bully.
I believe it.
You know, I was given big bully. Let's go over to another B word, Mr. Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny appears to diss Devin Booker on new song amid Kendall Jenner romance speculation. According to Complex, Bad Bunny took a shot at Kendall Jenner's ex. Fans seem to think so. In the song Coco Chanel, he said, I'm not bad, baby. That's a gimmick. He sings, the sun in Puerto Rico heats up more than the one in Phoenix.
I thought it was hotter than the one in Phoenix.
No, he heats up more than the one in Phoenix.
And she knows it, right?
Yeah, and she knows it. I thought that was such a clever line. I was like... But then, so Devin Booker went back and was like commenting on the post, like he's still worried about another man because of how Bad Bunny kissed the guy at the VMAs. And I was like, that's all you got, baby? That's it? Okay.
So he kissed another man and still bagged
your girl.
Well, they broke up, so that's not his girl. Interesting. I feel like, you know, as a heterosexual man, that is the only response that he could have.
Boring.
Right.
What you got?
I'm not gonna. Can we stay on that for a second? I really like. Did we talk about how this is possibly a PR stunt?
Yeah.
Fam.
If you subscribed, you would.
It's giving more and more each day. Because you don't. Listen, Kris Jenner is. She's
a mastermind.
She is a literal
Kris,
mastermind.
If you're watching.
Hi. She's a mastermind.
We would love for you to take us.
He might. I don't. I'm good. I wouldn't subscribe.
I love a check. And I hate working, so hey.
He can take the sofrito. I'm gonna take the speaks. We'll split everything down the middle. Yeah, that's gonna be that. I will follow in Amanda Seales' steps and walk away from a check with a quickness. And Ruben's like, just one though.
Oh, there's no contemplating. I'm going.
Respect. But that would be the end of the show. But anyways, I can't help, like, now I'm really thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? I would not be surprised this was a PR stunt.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, did you watch the carpool with the Late Late
I didn't
Show?
watch. No. I keep seeing the clips. He's so cute.
He's adorable. It was so cute.
When he was singing Ariana Grande.
This is the
Ariana?
Yeah, his veins are, I was like, oh, you really trying with this song? That's cute. I wonder
like,
if you learned this.
Yeah.
I wonder if you learned this for this, because he ain't singing your songs, boo. Like,
I know in the hood in Puerto Rico you weren't playing that.
Anyways, moving on. So really quickly. All right. So I don't know if you guys have seen this on TikTok, but there is a mother who just recently found out that her 17-year-old son is being demoted back to the 9th grade. Keep in mind, mi gente, he's a senior right now. She thought they were gearing up towards graduation in June. No. He's being demoted and sent back to the 9th grade. He has a grade point average of 0.13. But get this. Out of 120 students in his graduating class, he's ranked 62. So that tells us that 58 of his classmates are either ranked or either have a GPA of the same or lower than him. And if you don't know what a GPA is, it's your grade point average. It's what you've averaged throughout your time in school based off of your grades. Grade point average, GPA. Just in case I wanted to clarify.
Don't look at me. I knew.
He's stupid. And with that, he also missed 272 days of class and or school in general. And this mother is on doing these interviews where she's like, the school failed him. Keep in mind, she does work 3 jobs.
Paint the picture.
That's all I gotta give her. That's all I'm giving her.
No, what was the picture? When she was doing the interview, what was happening in the background?
Oh, as she's doing the interview, her son's playing with his PlayStation in the background.
A senior.
And you're working. So, like, here's the thing. Working 3 jobs, we have the money for a PlayStation. Your kids' grades are accessible on your phone.
You get a report. It's now senior year. You've been getting a report card.
You get a report card. You get a progress report come November before the report card. And her argument is that they kept passing him. Unfortunately, kids do slip through the cracks within the school system. And we know this.
It happened to me my first freshman year. I got passed to sophomore year. And then 2 weeks in, they brought my ass right back.
Oh, Dad.
I was like, I'm dropping out.
And he did just that, mi gente.
And it worked out great.
Still successful in his own right. And so it was, the video was disturbing because there was no accountability. This parent was taking no accountability.
It's giving Gen
for not being, I think she was a millennial. An older millennial. She had to be like in her late.
That's why I stopped myself. I was like, wait.
She had to be like in her late 30s, early 40s. And she was taking no accountability for the part that she didn't play in her child's education, her lack of a presence. It's like, how do you know? Like, how don't you know that your kid is failing? And then she's like, no one at the school ever contacted me. Only one time in the 4 years he's been there did a teacher reach out to me about setting up a parent-teacher conference. And the conference never even happened.
You didn't see... Okay, first of all, the conference never happened and you never followed up.
Boom.
Second of all, you've been getting, senior year, we're in January. So you've already gotten... How many report cards are given a year? 4?
Yeah.
4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18 report cards so far you've received. And not once did you think to yourself.
And the thing is that the only 2 decent,
this ain't working.
The only 2 decent grades he has on his transcripts are D+. 2 D+ and a C-. Everything else is failed. And here's my thing though, like if we get up here, we talk about it, we're gonna get backlash. Like, you don't got kids, you don't understand. What I understand is that my mama was a working mother of 4, and she found the time. Like, you can't be mad that I was shown an example of how to be involved in what your kids got going on. My mom was a single mom of 4
You don't need to. I don't need
kids.
to understand. What I understood when I was younger is that a report card is gonna snitch your ass out.
Right. That's
so if you do not bring the grade home, you getting that ass whooping.
Yep.
And the problem is y'all not whipping kids' ass no more. I'm sounding like someone's uncle.
But where is the lie though? And I think the most
it is hot in here.
I don't know why it got so hot in here. But the moment we open that window, it's gonna be Brick City. Yeah, so that was like super disturbing to me because I was
go ahead.
Super disturbing to me because for the entirety of that interview, this parent did not take any accountability for checking in with her son, and I think she has 2 other kids or 3 other kids. So I don't know. Guess they joke.
What else you got?
And then this one threw me off. This one messed me all the way up. So 18 corrections officers in a jail in the UK have been fired or resigned due to the fact that female guards at that, due to the hooking up with the inmates at a ridiculous rate. So it says here, at least 18 female guards in the UK's cushiest prison have reportedly been fired or resigned amid a flurry of sordid sexual accusations, including claims of sexual inside cells, including claims of sex inside cells and one guard smuggling her underwear to another inmate. Which is also Britain's, so HMP Berwyn, which is also Britain's largest facility, has been hit with various claims of illicit affairs and inappropriate relationships between guards and inmates since its opening in 2017, with 3 former workers sentenced to in 2019 scandal. I don't even care to keep reading. British outlets are reporting that the 18 women who were fired and resigned from a single jail cell.
18 women were out there throwing that pussy in this goddamn jail. That's wild.
Is a record, noting that since 2019, a total of 31 women across England and Wales have been fired from jails for intimate relationships with
Well, maybe there's a sex problem over there in Wales. Maybe the Walians are super sex driven.
But the drag queens are the problem.
Oh, baby. I was not expecting. Oh, Chad.
I got you with that one.
Chad. Baby. I was not
and I hope you guys understood the sarcasm in that. It takes a lot to throw Ruben off.
I was like that Wendy, the Wendy gif where she's like,
stop. Yo.
But to finish this off real quick, I wanted to talk about the fire that happened on Essex Street, the liquor store and the bakery shop.
Yeah.
Man, I hope that they're able to get everything repaired, because that bakery shop was pretty new and they made the best pastelitos. Like,
are there any GoFundMes? Are there any fundraisers going on?
I just thought about this. I didn't do my research, but if you know of a GoFundMe, comment down below and comment the link. Period.
Yes.
Let's close this section now and head over to our next section, which is Caldero Talk.
All right, mi gente, welcome to Caldero Talk, which is the part of the show where we are going to give you the meat, the topic at hand that we are going to dissect and discuss.
Yes, honey. Oh, that's my bad. That's for season 7. My bad.
Stop. This is not him already practicing his new ad libs. I can't stand this man. So with that being said, our topic is learning how to exist in a space that no longer serves you.
Yes. I put the definition of what safe space is. Mm-hmm. Safe space is a space defined by your emotions and experiences. I guess that kind of helped, because I guess when you're in a space that does, what were we talking about?
Loco,
I'm getting sick. I'm becoming sick.
We're watching Ruben progressively become delusional. He's definitely getting sick.
Yo, I'm getting sick. Like, the minute we started recording, it's just like
he's fading in and out of conversation.
Go ahead, lead this one, please, Lord. Don't ask me no questions.
No, so it's just
Lord.
learning how to exist in a space that no longer serves you. So with that being said, Ruben and I always have offline conversations before we get into recording, and one of the topics that tends to be super prevalent when we speak to each other and when we catch up on our weeks is, how we have to operate in these spaces as we're healing. And so, I was talking about Nel Chisme, me and my coworker, how would I would not have been able to have a productive conversation if I was still unhealed. However, that version of me no longer exists in that space. It can't exist in that space anymore if I want to be successful.
Right.
But then that's work. What does that look like in our homes? What does that look like in our friendships? What does that look like in romantic relationships?
Oof. Okay. I think it like as far for me in a home, I definitely try to come to the studio as much as I can. My house is not, and I want to choose my words carefully. There's no physical violence. There's no violence at all. It's just this. It's a different atmosphere for me because I've realized a lot in my personal life. So certain times throughout the day that I just don't. I want to be alone. Like yesterday, I canceled our meeting. Like I got home late, obviously from Friday night, but I was just like, I just need a day to be alone. And I come to the studio for that. I come to the studio
I think
for
that's how I felt Friday
all
night.
of that. Like sit here, sit on my laptop, get creative, think about things for the show, think about things that I can do for my future, for other things that I have going on. So yeah, I think this is my safe space right now. How does that look like at work? It's non-existent. But I'm working on it. I was just having a conversation earlier this morning with someone about how I am learning to fix my relationship with having a job. Because as a creative, I have a hard time at jobs. They can be to other people, like people have told me like, oh my God, you're so lucky you have a good job. And I'm just like, do I? Like, I don't see it.
At what cost?
But I'm trying to fix that because, you have to work. And it's like if I fuck up the opportunities that I have now because I'm not understanding the meanings behind them, then I'm going to end up in a situation where I was 4 years ago.
You know what we call that, mi gente? Growth.
Capiche. I think that, so working on those things for now at my job when I'm having stressed out moments or I'm having negative thoughts, I close my office door. Maybe I'll take a walk. I do walks now. I put my little walk timer on, 10 minutes. My boss is super cool about it. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to go take a 10-minute walk. She's like, do your thing. Like, there's nothing going on here. And I'm like, I know.
That's why I'm going.
That's why I'm going for a walk.
I'm just letting you know.
I'll be back 5 hours. We're good.
I'm going to go home and take a nap.
So, yeah, I've been working on that and creating a safe space for myself there because I can't keep putting all of those thoughts in my head. Like, I think that's what led to my panic attack a few weeks ago was just like, because I that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I gotta get out of this shit. Like, how am I feel like a job is a punishment. That is how I feel. And my negative mind will tell me, you are being punished for everything you didn't do when you were supposed to do it.
Damn.
And now you're here. Because if you think about it, I work in solitude. There's no one that goes to my office. Like, I sit in my office all day for 8.5 hours. The reason why our social medias are so active is because I'm just there, like, repost. Like, I have the time to do that. And it's crazy because there's this saying that always goes, remember that what you have today, you wished and prayed for a few years ago. And this was what I prayed for.
You prayed
this
for your
was
right
what
now.
I was manifesting when I was working at Starbucks. And I was like, I just want a job where I can have a desk and do nothing. And now it's not enough. Well, damn. When is it going to be enough for you? So learning my relationship with my job, learning how to create safe spaces at these jobs in order for me to understand the real mission. And he talked to me about, my friend, we talked about what's your purpose. Because if you don't know your purpose, then you're doing all of this for no reason. And then you're always going to feel like that.
No.
If you know your purpose, like why do we podcast?
That was a real conversation that we had to have.
Why do we podcast? Why, why do we enjoy what we do? What are these feelings? And what it is for me is like having communication, getting to work on communication, the growth aspect between us, seeing each other grow, having somebody that I can grow alongside. Maybe we're not in the same direction, but we're on the same journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, if it's that comfort and that feeling of just like having that safety net of like, yo, you'll understand what I'm going through. And this is that safe space for us. Like, we're literally in front of the camera, but we feel safe. We don't feel like 200, 300 people are tuning into this episode and listening to what we're saying. We just feel like, we're having a conversation between us two. So I think that to grow out of a safe space is when you're like done. You've met that space. Now it's time to emerge into a new space.
Right.
And what does that look like? A lot of people find fear in that because of change and growth, and the body will do
the discomfort.
The body will do what it needs to do, what it's used to doing when you're changing and growing.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what you just went through, of like, you had to enter a new space in your life. You had to be somewhere where you had to be vulnerable, and that is not something that your nervous system knows how to handle yet.
And on top of that, it was the like you just touched upon, like, where you at right now, you were praying for back then. And I've been praying to, get in community, get surrounded around people in my faith, so that way, like, I can have people that hold me accountable, people that can teach me, people I can learn from. And if I just showed up to church on Sundays and just dipped right after service, I wouldn't. I would have to rely on myself for the growth.
Right.
And I don't want to I don't want to be a part-time Christian. I don't want to be a part-time, I only show up on Sundays. That's my one day a week. And then for 6 other days, my life is running amok. And then on Sunday, I try to hit the reset button, and it's not resetting because I'm not making sure that we're good throughout the week. You know what I mean? But in terms of, outgrowing a space that no longer serves you, this concept hit hard because I came to that realization this week. I was driving back from rehearsal, and it was on Wednesday, and Puerto Rico was playing Dominican Republic for the World Classic for baseball.
Which they watched.
Who watched? Oh, I was only.
They washed them like they.
They washed. I was like, what? Watched what? Yeah, they saw the game.
Worship.
That's literally the only game that I cared about. As long as PR beat DR, I don't care. I'm like low key upset that they lost to Mexico, because like what? But it's fine. With that, as I was driving home, before I pulled off or whatever, I was just like refreshing all my social media and checking everything before I headed out. And I saw my old friend group. They were all out. Someone had reposted it. My old friend group was out watching the game at a bar. And in that moment, it hit me. If I was still in that friend group, I would not have been here.
That part.
Like, and this, it probably sounds odd to y'all. But again, there's a reason for everything. And like, I've learned so much about myself and how I operate and what I have to offer and things like that. The things that I would not have ever figured out if I didn't take a step back. So this place that I was once in, it stopped serving me a long time ago. Now, the way that it ended was a little funky, but it had to end regardless. And now I have an appreciation for where I was, and I love where I'm at now, and I look forward to where I'm going. Because that realization that high key punched me. Like, I was like, yo, if I was still rocking with them, I wouldn't be here, because I would have been so worried about how they were going to perceive how I handled this next chapter in my life. I would have been so like, nah, you bugging, whatever. I would have been doing the Christian thing in the dark if I stayed in this group or with these people. And they weren't bad people. They just couldn't.
They didn't share the vision.
They don't have the vision that I have, and they weren't going to help aid in getting me to where I needed to be. Which, if we really think about it, yeah, they kind of did, because it forced me out. I was forced out, which is fine, because I was outgrowing them. What do you do with a plant when it outgrows its pot? You have to replant it.
You throw it away.
And so,
oh baby,
it's, again, to circle it back to what we're talking about. It's what happens when you outgrow or how do you exist in those spaces? Sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just don't exist in those spaces anymore. You have to remove yourself. And there are moments where you might have to continue to exist in a space while you're still healing. And, it's one of those sayings of like not going back to the place that broke you. But sometimes that's the only safety net you have. So then you have to figure out how to exist in that space. Excuse me. Anyways, bless me. So, it's like, to, speak on, you being back home.
Sofrito sneeze. Bless you.
You stupid. Oh, wow, that was a good one.
Branding.
That got me. Branding everything. To go back to, how you talked about it's not an abusive household. It's not whatever. It's just like you just kind of exist in that space because that's where you can exist right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's the opposite for me now. Before it was, I want to get out of the house. I want to get out of the house. Now it's, I don't want to leave my house because there was a shift in the atmosphere in the home to where it no longer feels heavy for me to be in. So I don't mind spending my days in the house anymore because I'm not running from anything anymore. Ruben and I were talking about this. He was like, Nina, you were running. You were in a full-blown marathon for a while. And now that you've shifted, your audience looks different because so many people could relate to the angry side of you that because you decided to heal and they haven't, they're not coming along for this one. And now that's some quality shit right there. You know what I mean? I said, Ruben,
Baby, that was before I started getting sick.
That you stupid. He was saying some quality things before he started to feel whatever.
No, I'm really feeling it right now. Like when we finish here, I'm running to my house like the Tomb Raider.
Me. Shut up. Me.
But I am.
Go ahead.
I don't know why I yelled that out.
Why? Somebody come collect this man's because.
Oh my
anyways,
God.
But yeah, mi gente. So I really want you guys to, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling weird, in these spaces, and I've said before, like pay attention to how your body reacts to where you're at, and.
I said it a few episodes ago that I'm really starting to pay attention to certain ways that my body reacts when I'm around certain people.
Yes.
So that I can start to pick up the signal of like, is this person making me uncomfortable? Mm-hmm. And now lately I've been like communicating to people like, yo, don't do that. I don't like that. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't do it to you. Please don't do it to me. If you can't respect that, get the fuck out.
Right.
Because maybe my poor little heart, I'm trying to live a little longer. All that stress on that.
Yeah.
So many people take that on. So many people stay quiet around these friendships just to have friends.
I'm so glad that I'm not one of those people. I really am so glad I'm not one of those people.
I mean, state your boundaries and hold them to you.
And don't feel bad for sticking to them.
Hold people up to the mirror. The same mirror that they're not afraid to hold you up to, hold them up to that mirror and show them. You see this? You see how stupid you look?
Coño. I don't know, mi gente. I'm sure this is definitely one of those topics that we're only just scratching the surface.
Yeah, we definitely got to revisit this.
Yeah.
I am not in the best mindset for this right now, but I really wanted to talk about this a lot deeper. But right now, I feel everything just like, I don't know what it is. Don't look at me like that. You can't read me right now.
He's so stupid. Anyways, with all of that being said, we are going to close this section out and head over to our next section, which is
A Reposar. All right, welcome to the last section of the show, Reposar, the part of the show where we leave you guys with some positive affirmations and all of that zhuzh.
Not the zhuzh.
What you got? Not
the zhuzhy. That's crazy. that I don't. You got that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. It's coming, baby.
It's coming.
The week that I have a vacation. So
ain't
let's
that
talk
about
about it. I do want to make an announcement. This is the last public episode of the season. It's giving very much. Thank you guys for the support. If you guys are subscribers, don't worry about it. For our public, audience, we will be taking 2 months off. We'll be taking the month off April and May. We will return the first week of June. If you are a subscriber, then you will have access to revisited episodes. So it's going to be pretty exciting just to keep you guys entertained for those 8 weeks. If you're not a subscriber, we will see you in June and you will see a couple clips coming up on the Instagram. What?
I don't know why I found that funny.
Because they're not subscribing.
We're taking all of our content and only giving it to those who are paying $2.99 a month to say what's up.
Well, you know what? Money talks. So
Yeah, not wrong. Bills need to be paid.
On that note, here is mine's
You're so
my
extra.
affirmation. I'm gonna get a COVID test. That's what I'm gonna leave you guys with. And let's just pray that it's good, but I ain't feeling too hot right now.
You think it was the pizza?
What? These motherfuckers. Not be buying some pizza for $5 and walking out with COVID.
We are not saying the name of the place because he's out here starting rumors. Anyways.
And I know I'm not tired because I slept like 8 hours. So I know I'm not tired.
Yeah, but like in 3 days you slept 8 hours?
No. Last night I didn't go out. I was very adamant about getting my sleep. And yesterday I slept 8 hours too, yeah. I slept all the way till 12.
I mean, honey, you was at the club on Friday night.
I know, that's what's scaring me. And I was being a bad little boy.
Ew. No, thank you. Gross.
What is your affirmation?
My affirmation is that you do not need to tie yourself to any person, place, or thing in order to feel worthy or deserving of the things that you have ahead of you.
Don't tie yourself to those nouns.
You're right. Proper, improper, whatever. Don't tie yourself to them. But yeah, with that being said, mi gente.
My name is Rosales and I'm blasting off.
And I'm Nina Montañez. Stay blessed, mi gente.
Achoo!
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Sofrito Speaks.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram @Sofrito Speaks to keep up with all of our latest content.